Looking forward to chat with Paulo. To get us started, Paulo, could you do a quick introduction about you and PlanetQuest?
Yeah, sure. My name is Paulo. I'm leading partnerships at PlanetQuest, and I also have a bit of a hand in the community end of it and content. PlanetQuest is, if you haven't seen yet, it's a free-to-play multiplayer exploration and survival shooter. And what we like to tell our community and our partners is that, we are creating a cinematic gaming universe, and we'd like to call it cinematic because we're actually building a full media, somewhat franchise behind it, right? Akin to the likes of Dota 2 and Dragon's Blood or League and Arcane. And so what happens is that each week, the lore behind the game is actually curated and decided by our community. So the character pivots and plot lines are literally in our community's hands. So it's quite decentralized. And we're aiming to release our first novel even by the end of the year, written by one of the writers behind Game of Thrones and Telltale Games The Walking Dead. So yeah, that's something to look forward to. As for the game, it's a top-down perspective shooter. So think like Diablo, right? With projectile physics and some skills and some class archetypes determined by the gear that you wear or the gear that the players wear. So the gameplay loop is basically you suit up, you select a mission, you dive into a planet, which are on sale, and you shoot some alien scum, or cooperate with other players for co-op or versus modes against them, and then you get rewards. Yeah, and certain types of gears that provide different utilities, and that may be in gears that are inclined are leaning to maybe heavy arms or stealth or a glass cannon or defensive. And it gets exciting because the gameplay you can customize or min-max your build however you please, right? So yeah, there's some complexity behind it and experimentation which we're looking forward to. I think lastly is it's free to play, right? I mentioned, and you will also be able to play it from any device. So whether it's PC or mobile phone, or even from your browser, so whatever potato phone or wooden PC you have, you can be able to access it. All you need is a URL from a friend, a link, and then you can just straight away play in less than 10 seconds. So it's frictionless, and you won't even need a wallet to connect.
Oh, that's super cool. I'd love to dig into a few of those, but just to set the scene of this entire AMA, what's the key thing that people are should be looking forward to in the next few weeks?
For the next few weeks, number one, our Planet sale is actually still live. We have about 8 days remaining. The unique thing about our Planet sale is we are not doing a first come first serve. What we're doing instead is really putting community first, right? So we don't want bots to come and invade or just the whales to take over or whatnot. So what we want is to allow people to purchase only. We do a ranking process, and those who are very much engaged in the server, or have like maybe they're engaged by having many points or having our NFTs, then we reward them by letting them participate in our planet sale on a on a ranking basis. Yeah, so for the next week at least, you still have a chance to actually join the sale. It's as low as about 250 USD, and I'll discuss the utilities later, but that's something that you have to remember.
Yeah, awesome. Yes, we'll definitely loop back to this later. But just to, I guess, get people enticed and so that they understand what exactly it's all about. But to give people a bit of a background of what exactly is this, what are these planets, why should they get excited, why should they play? Would love to dig into some of the things that you mentioned first. For example, you mentioned each week plot lines are being created. Is this totally community driven?
Yeah, so we have writers, right? We have a writing team
Mm,
in Planet
mm,
Quest. So what they do is we have a baseline context of what's currently happening. and then we give the community a set of options to pivot on where the plotline can go. So whether it is to attack or defend, maybe to save this character or not, and then they completely decide. And we also have three factions, right? We have the Federation, the Union, and the Empire, and it's think Star Wars politics, right? And then the majority wins. As to how a majority vote from these factions win as to how the plot would change. Yeah. So and every week these are collected, and by the end of the year, our first novel is coming up. Together with the recorded responses of the community, and these will also be coded into the lore of the game down the line.
Wow, it's amazing. Okay, so basically the novel will be generally driven by the community based on their options.
Exactly. Yeah. Imagine like having like even our current franchises that we have, for example, with Mary Jane, example from Spider-Man dying. Imagine looking back at a plot pivot like that and saying, I was a part of that. I killed her,
Yeah,
or
yeah,
I
super
saved
cool.
her. Yeah.
How do NFTs slash tokens come into play on like how you vote or anything like that?
No, 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 that's not. We haven't minted our tokens yet. So
Hmm.
it's really just community involvement and voting through Discord for now.
Got it. Got it. And what happens? Does this actually reflect what happens in the game?
Yeah, so that will so there are a few things that we hope to introduce. So apart from the lore, down the line we also hope for the community to be involved in mission generation, even right, or curating, what kinds of modes that we have. Hopefully, this will be made available to the community as well. We are hoping to launch the pre-alpha by the end of this year or early next year, and these will also be determined by the community in drip feed fashion, of course. As we introduce feature after feature, we assure the community, yeah, we assure you guys that you will be involved as well.
Got it. So the pre-alpha, meaning the actual gameplay, hoping to be released soon.
Yeah, that's right.
Awesome. That's super cool. All right. In that case, so we've talked about what you mentioned, the plot lines being driven by community, the novels at the end of the year. Could you tell a bit more about this gameplay loop that you mentioned, from gear all the way to rewards? What is actually available and what can people try already?
Okay, so for now we just came out last December, yeah. So
Mm,
it's been what very much, yeah, so about 5 months plus only. So what the approach that we're doing is we introduce the planets first, and then
hmm.
slowly, in the middle of the year and by the end of the year, you can get closer and closer to the proper game loop itself. So now it's the outside of the planets of the worlds. You can see it if you go to a website. You can actually have a 3D view of the planets. That is what's currently available, and that's what currently held on sale. These planets, you can actually access them in your wallet in all its 3D glory. You can see how the sun interacts with the planets and how the algae is reflected, and it follows really some insane laws of physics. That is made available for you currently. That is our planets, and this is also actually generated by our proprietary engine called the Genesis engine. It took about a decade, I think, to make, and it's much more different, right, compared to um, the normal NFTs that you would see. For example, normally it's just a picture with six attributes, but ours it has really dozens and dozens of sliders that determine the amount of magma inside, the amount of water and clouds, and all of these would form into the different planet classes, whether it's ice or volcanic or tropical or whatnot. And these classes also determine the kinds of creatures that inhabit the planet. So what we're taking it a little bit extreme in a sense that these planets are the game environments that you actually play on. You don't just own an NFT, an avatar. You don't just own those essentially, but you own entire worlds, right? And these worlds you can customize. You can build new structures on it, and then you can invite your friends to play as well on it and do missions together. So yeah, so there's insane art and insane utility, I believe.
Got it. Then once somebody who owns these planets, what happens? Do they mine it? Do they get rent? Well, what's there to do?
There's great value there because
Mm,
you can actually invite as much as 30 people inside your planet as your players, or if you'd like to call it scholars, right? So and you get to take a part in the yield generation of the players inside. So as a Planet NFT owner, you can do multiple things. You can just sit back and and take some passive cuts from your players, or you can also be actively involved in the planet and developing it the best that you could. And you're incentivized to do that, of course, because the better your planet is, and the more, maybe the more gear that you're able to lend out, the better player, the better quality of players that you attract, right? And the better quality of players you attract, of course, the more efficient it is for them to to partake in the missions, and hopefully even more fun, yeah, missions as well that you have.
Can you already like get any yield or start developing the planets once they have it in their wallet and purchase it, or
Oh,
that's
for now we don't have it there yet because we haven't launched the token yet, right? So the token will likely be launched by the end of this year. For now, it's happily tradable, and mind you, our NFTs are quite a boss, I think, in the IMX marketplace. Like for
mm,
example,
for
everyone
sure.
who joins the PlanetQuest server gets a free NFT already, right? Not the planets, but even the insignias. Some
Mm,
of them, the floor is 1.6 ETH, 1.2 ETH. I checked today, and
mm.
so we were expecting a lot of them more to scale up and really be beneficial for, yeah, for our players.
Yeah, definitely. Like, talk to us about the insignias. Like, what do they actually do? What are they for?
Yeah, so the insignias are something that we've actually freely given to the community. It's something that we have been doing since our launch in last December. What they do is you actually get a cut. It's actually used for airdrops, for airdrop rewards, right? For example, give me one sec. I need to see the post. Okay, I can't really find the post yet for now, but it can be as high as 10,000 USD actually vested over 10 months for just holding the insignia, and that's a lot of value, right? Or even I think about 1K to 10,000. Yeah, and and imagine receiving an NFT for free and just getting the tokens vested over time. And that won't just be limited to the PQX, right? I think the more partners that we have, the more also that we will have these kinds of arrangements. For example, I believe our partnership with Infinity Force can also allow us to have these airdrops in their Infinity tokens once they mint as well. So there's great utility there. And that's just the insignia. We're still yet to introduce more NFTs down the line. Like this year, we will. The planets are live now, right? After that will be our guild NFTs, and after that will be the gear NFTs by the end of the year as well, and the artifacts. Probably not this year for the artifacts, but maybe next year. So the guild NFTs are essentially what is a collection of planets. They'll function maybe like a little bit like a DAO, and they can be staked as well. And there are also ways it's basically there's a lot of governance involved in these guild NFTs, and this is where we enable our community to own their own guild without having to create a Discord channel or whatnot, right? And they will be able to also share in the yields of the collected planets under their guilds. The gear NFTs, like I shared earlier, which will be on sale this year as well, will be essentially the will be granting you the different abilities for the different missions that you will have, and they will be hotly contested also, I believe, and hopefully you'll be able to wear them as well, and you can see them in play. You should be able to. So the timeline that we have right now is, I think, in the middle of the year or Q3, you will be able to see the surfaces and you can run around and see some creatures. And
Oh
hopefully
wow,
during yeah, so it's scaling right now. You only see the outside of the planets. It's really pretty, and then you go inside and even closer to the environment in Q3, and in Q4 or Q1 to next year, you'll be able to play the pre-alpha, hopefully with the gears involved and the interactions of the skills against the alien creatures and whatnot.
nice. Okay, so right now it's the planet NFTs. So what you're saying is the next one that will come out is the guild, and then the player, and then the gear, and then the artifacts, right?
And our token as well.
Awesome. Okay. In that case, tell us about what happens with the planet sale. Like after it's done, what should people be excited about? What's happening then?
Yeah. So the planet's a planet scale is different, right? I told you it's on a
Mm-hmm.
ranking basis. What happens is you
Mm-hmm.
put in an application, you say, "Oh, I want this planet because yada yada. I'm such a fan of Nigel and Paulo and Millie."
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll read every single application. For now, I think we have.
Oh.
Yeah, really, really, yeah, yeah. So it's not like it's not first come first serve, right? We don't even let anyone purchase it. Yeah, we allow you to purchase after we have sifted through the thousands of applications, and this makes it. It really goes back to our ethos that the community wins, right? So we will listen to what the community has had. We will check their passports, or we'll check their involvement. We'll check their wallets and their involvements in the community, their chat histories or whatnot, and then we'll give you an email after that, maybe after several weeks. That hi, thank you for participating and applying in the planet sale. I see you have applied maybe for a common planet or a rare planet or whatnot, and then we'll give you a link which you'll be able to mint from there and able to have the transaction there. So you don't even need to have the funds right now. Actually, it's just an application for now. Apply, select the faction that you want, whether it's Empire, Union, or Federation. Best to select all actually because I know we have a limited we have certain allotments for factions. You select your faction, you select the rarity that you want, the tier rather, common, rare, epic, legendary, and then after that you put in your details, your name, your email, and others, and then your motivation on why you want the planet. And then a few weeks after that, we'll give you an email. You'll mint, and then yeah, and then I think you once it's exchanged, you'll be able to see the planet live in your wallet. You can take as many pictures as you want as well because you can see a number of perspectives. You can because you can turn the planet around on different angles, and you can zoom in and zoom out. You can even see them having a revolution of sorts because it's actually animated. If you bought once, if you're buying planets with moons, you can see the moons are rotating around and stuff like that.
That's super interesting. Just to double check, right? Like the 8 days of that's open right now. That's 8 days of applications,
That's right.
right?
Mm.
So after that, the applications will close, and then you'll be reviewing and then letting people mint it after your period of review.
That's right. So we'll review and then we will email everyone that's eligible to buy the planets,
Hmm.
and then they will be able to purchase through a link.
Very interesting. I think this is probably the first time I've heard somebody doing it like this, right? So I think it's a very interesting experiment. Have anybody been able to mint their planets yet?
No, they haven't yet.
You haven't chosen your first batch yet of people who can
No,
mint.
we haven't chosen your first batch yet. Yeah, we haven't chosen yet. So the idea behind it is really we are because we see the market, right? We see what's happening
Mm,
in these sales. Usually it's um, there's a gas war, right? And then maybe there are bots sniping the the NFTs, or maybe different people just taking over and buying a buttload and then and jacking them up,
mm,
scalpers or whatnot. And we really think those are very against the community. So because our ethos is community first, we're pivoting to this instead. Um, and so far we've received very good feedback from our community. They really love the idea that they're being placed first, and they really love the idea that they can actually work towards it. As well. Yeah, and there are a lot of opportunities for our community to be involved. We have at least 15 international communities, um, from Japanese, Russian, Chinese, etc., um, that have their own set of translators, have their own sets of event organizers, meme officers, and they can
mm.
contribute there. They can contribute by being one of our content creators, or just being or helping to mod, help with the chat and or maybe help with support. And eventually, depends on how involved they are, they can even mint a planet for their own based they can reap a reward from there because they're given points whenever they do community building activities. So I think this is one example of how we're really putting that first. and that is also exemplified in the sale.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I have a ton of questions about this. Like, for example, what
Yeah.
you alluded to a little bit of this, but you say the community really likes it so far. What are examples of community feedback about this process?
Well, apart from the delay, which is understandable, I think it was a really good pivot to price it to price to have the same utilities even though they are differently priced. So, for example, like what I said, right? The planets have it, it's really the value is really very different compared to, for example, games like Axie Infinity or Pegaxi or whatnot, right? Because in those games you only have one NFT is to maybe one player, right? But the value that our community gets from our NFTs from the planets is that they actually have as much or as little as 30 people to play in a single planet, all for the same common denominator price of 250 USD, right? And that's extreme value, right? Especially in the bear market. So I think there's positive feedback from there. There's positive feedback from the fact that they are rewarded by staying on, by being engaged in the server and helping others. They're rewarded by helping us as ambassadors, um, or by writing or whatnot. And there's really something to do for everyone. And even if some events don't fit your bill, right? If you're not the Smash Cards guy, then you can be the story creator guy, right? Or you can host other events that appeal to you instead. And right now, through you guys, through IMX, actually, we are hosting the Galactic Games, which are mini games that we have sprinkled through the Planet Sale, organized entirely by the community. We didn't prescribe the games, and then we give them prizes to a different scale. For example, they can win as much as 50 IMX, right, or 25 IMX for lower skilled ones, all for just playing like Smash cards or writing a quick tweet or a story or whatnot. And I think that has really received good feedback. And down the line, and it really sets the stage for them to feel valued, right? And whatever language they speak, whatever interest that they have, it can be put forward, and we are there ready to listen. Our moderators, we have a very good team of moderators and community managers as well, from the staff. Yeah, so and we have weekly meetings with them as well. So there's always feedback from the ground up.
Awesome. I wonder what inspired this process. Like, what was this always the plan to do an application process for the Mint, or did something inspire this?
Yeah, so Lauren, our founder, right, has founded Embasword as well. Embasword is another blockchain game in IMX, and uh, it's it's a very exciting game. It's one of the top 10 in CoinGecko actually for
Mm-hmm.
2022 games.
Mm-hmm.
He did this approach as well in Embasword, where even though they had like millions of people, sorry, thousands of people applying, reaching up to hundreds of millions of commits. They selected from that list and only rewarded the community that were really involved in it. So I think from there that was a proof of concept, and that has now been ported over to this project, which is also Lauren's project, and in PlanetQuest. And we see it working here as well. I mean, it'll be a headache for us to go through the applications, but you know, it's for the community. Yeah. So
Yeah, I was gonna say, I mean, how big of a team do you need to go through all these applications? Like, well, first of all, how many applications have you received so far?
So we have about 3,000 applications so far.
Got it.
I think the commits in the first few days reached about 10 million. I don't know how much it is right now, and that's in a bear market, So yeah, it's quite a number. What we'll plan to do is we'll likely split the load between the community team, or maybe even ask the help of our ambassadors, to get them even more involved.
Got it. Wow, that's
Yeah.
amazing. It's a very interesting way of doing things as well. I'm sure a lot of people will learn from this. Would love to know from your view what the Plantes community is like right now.
Okay, so it's a mix, right?
Hmm.
Always a mix of people who jump between projects so they can flip some assets. There's also,
Hmm.
but we also have a huge slice who are in love with the story that we're crafting. They really like how
Hmm.
they're involved in the process. We have good writers. We see, and they even host their own podcasts to discuss it, and so it's a mix. There's a lot of sci-fi enthusiasts. I don't want to call in the other words. The sci-fi enthusiasts, people who are believers in GameFi as well. Yeah, because we're also shifting in the sense that we don't want to brand ourselves or call ourselves a play to earn game. We want to call ourselves a play and earn game. What that means is that it puts primacy on the game quality first, and making sure that people enjoy it and give value to it, and maybe even spend money on it, in order for it not to be like a bit of a Ponzi scheme in the other play to earn schemes that we have, right? So I think our community is also bullish on that. Our community is also bullish in the fact that we have really credible founders and staff in the team. Like Lauren has founded many games, right, and has coded his own and even episode. We have we have John McCoy, who is our art director, whose IMDb is stacked. Is he's worked in the recent Batman, the Eternals, Rogue One, um, and more that I can't really mouth here. Our head of game dev is Don, who's led teams in Rockstar Studios, Stega, and Ronin Entertainment, and that's also and that really brings a lot of confidence. Every week, I think what we allow also our communities to we give them sort of these quests or missions on the passports, and that it really helps them to keep building community and share with their friends, and we reward them as well for that. And I think they're excited about these opportunities as well. They're also a mixed bag because since we have other partners and investors, a lot of them also come from those partner communities, and I think together we really just make one big integrated community.
Got it. Okay. The reason I asked is because you're doing a lot of novel things. I was wondering how this is reflected in your community.
Like our community is so involved that they even wrote their own the first we have about 4 issues or 5 issues now, I believe, of a community newsletter, right? It's like a whole like a 20-page PDF with various theory crafting involved, and they even interview the staff, or the universal council we call it, on their own accord, and they
Oh, wow.
they even interview their own mods, and they even interview people from the ground, right? On what are your views, what are your theories, or what would you want to see. So they have that. They also built our wiki from the ground up. And from the wiki, it's so detailed that we, even the staff, even the Universal Council, we refer to it as our Bible, because it's so well detailed. It lists all the stories so far as a one stop. It lists all the utilities of our planets, the team composition, and they're now even porting it to various other languages. So I think there's a really good there's a lot of enthusiasm there that's involved. We have because we have so many international communities as well. There's a lot of subcultures that are involved, right? So the Russians will have their own um, sub communities, and even they even interact with other language groups. For example, they would host cross language events. Like, for example, the Chinese community will want to play with the Japanese community for some lol beans or whatnot. And we, as the community managers, we just allow them the platform. And then if they propose some prize system that they want, then we're very democratic, right? We're very decentralized, and so we give it to them, yeah. And then I think when it turns it really encourages to develop more and more and more things. So recently, because we released um, we leaked some concept art about the creatures, the alien creatures that we're gonna have on PQ. They even initiated a naming contest, for the creatures, and that's something we're really excited about. Yeah, so there's just a lot of events on a weekly basis, from draft your own or create your own planet, right? Or some of them even do some form of role playing or some LARPing by drafting or drawing their own characters, and then uh, inserting them into our weekly contests or weekly stories rather, as if they were the main characters. And then we also allow them the platform and the reward scheme they want as well from those.
That's amazing. I think this is a really good example of a really strong community. I wonder how did the Planet Quest team manage to inspire that? Like, in your opinion, how did you build this such a strong and fanatical community?
I think it goes back to, well, I wouldn't. Well, I hope they'll be fanatical, but if it's strong for now. But
Mm,
uh, it really goes back to the ethos I think that we have. The core value is that it's community first, or the community always wins, right? So
mm,
because the community is always wins, it really curates, that really influences us on how we draft the game. We draft, so if we view that, for example, there's a huge blocker, people don't want to play games in blockchain because it's um, so troublesome sometimes, right? You have to log into your wallet. Maybe sometimes it's not mobile responsive or whatnot. So we provide solutions so that the community will win. So hence, we're crafting a game where you don't need your wallet to log in, right? We're crafting a game where you don't need to install this on a launcher. Right, you can actually play it. You can, but you can also play it from your browser. You don't need a PC with Unreal. We're not drafting it in Unreal Engine 5, for example, because um, that will take too long, and that will be too complicated, and you won't be able to play on your mobile phone if it's UE5. So these kinds of things, right, sprinkled in between our approach in the Planet Sale. We don't want the bots to take over or the whales to make them disheartened in sale. So I think that's another approach so that the community wins. And I think they see this and they witness this, and we listen to, even Lauren comes down to voice chats every now and then and just drop some leaks. And the community always like becomes so frazzled. Like, "Eh." Yeah, so yeah,
That's amazing. I see one of our audience members want to ask a question. Do you mind if we invite them to the stage?
yeah, sure, sure.
Okay, hopeful loser, I will invite you now.
Hey there, more of some piggybacking, some supporting statements, right? Hey there, Dincy, how's it going?
What's up?
Um, pleasure to meet you. Thanks so much for bringing me up, Nigel. I'm actually one of the moderators for the PQ community. I just wanted to hop up here, say hello to everyone, support Dincy. He
Woohoo.
is a gem of a community manager and does he wears many hats. Let's just say he's always around and he does so much for the community. Um, like he was saying, a lot of the events, the Universe Council, or so to speak, the development team, right, as we call them, the Universe Council, they essentially tend to hang back and let us just take the reins, which is such a phenomenal thing in a project of this caliber, right? We're given the freedom to organize these events, like Dincy was saying. We get together and talk about the storyline every single week. It's like a 3 hour event where we're handing out trivia points and commendation points as the mod team, and everyone's going crazy for it. There's events organized for even characters, like, within the story, right? They fight each other, right? So we have this faction battle channel where we organize these cool events so they can fictionally fight each other, and it's just really fun. And
Yeah.
it all really started with the Universe Council supporting us, right? We got together in voice channels, and John and Retro were there at the very beginning, kind of spurring us on, telling us, great job, you keep doing this. We organized all these initial plans, and it evolved into this huge ambassador program. So yeah, I just wanted to hop up here and say that.
Oh, it's amazing. Thanks for sharing.
Thanks, Hopeful. Yeah, appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely. We have another one from Magic.
Sorry, it took me a minute to figure out how to unmute it. Thanks for having me, guys, and thanks for putting together such a great project. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, thanks for being
For
here.
sure.
I have a question kind of about how planets will be integrated into the guild system. We have a pretty good idea about how rewards will work with the planets and their weights, but I'm wondering if you can let us know a little more on how that will integrate into the guild system. And also, I'd had a premonition about 3 mythical planets, and I'm just wondering if my psychic abilities are off, or maybe you have some whispers about that as well.
Ooh, a premonition. Would love to hear.
Okay, maybe for the mythical planet, this is just for the communities, for you who don't know. We those are not actually for sale. Those will likely be held on auctions. I'm not sure about three. Maybe three if you think about it. Like maybe if you think about it as having one mythical planet per galaxy, that could be it. Yeah. Yeah, so stay tuned. I don't want to give too much away. And as for the guild utility, as for how the interaction of the planets are like, so uh, what we're envisioning here, right, is because of our multiple partnerships with guilds and upcoming esports teams, right? We already have one on the deck. Um, I think eventually the guilds will play a huge role because the players who belong to those guilds or teams would want to play under the banner of that guild, right? And if guilds are customizable, and if guilds provide an avenue for you to to have to indicate what kind of gear a certain guild lends, a kind of quality that these guild lends, and what kind of players they take in, and what kind of upgrades they suggest for the planets they're under. That really builds the how complex the collection of planets can be, right? And because the guild NFTs will also have a staking feature, and the staking feature will be also taken from the global rewards pool. Eventually, there's a lot more in terms of yield in store for everyone, especially if you own a guild. Like we mentioned in our article in on Medium, um, we have different multipliers on depending on what kind of NFTs that you have. We have a planet multiplier. There's also a guild multiplier, and all of those then would trickle down to player rewards.
Very cool. Thanks for getting into that. Appreciate you guys and all the work you're doing.
Thanks, Magic. I invited Freeman. Hey, Freeman. Thanks for putting your hand up. What's your question?
Must love to have this image front and center during your podcast. But anyways, honestly, just like everybody else, I really want to thank you guys for doing this and making this game the way you have. We're already playing the game. The way you've set it up, we're already playing PlanetQuest, and that's what makes it so engaging. Is that we're playing it, but we're building it at the same time, which is really freaking exciting as somebody who wants to play it. But moving on from that, like I've been, I mean, I'm an old fart here, probably older than everybody in this in this chat room. I'm 43, but I played a lot of games. I've done even play testing over the years, and I love different types of play mechanics. I've played, EVE Online, which is, a brutal learning curve if anybody has ever tried to play that game. And the one game I played longest is World War II Online. And between those two games, what I love is the aspect of making it so that you have to work as a team, and it's more exciting to work as a team in order to achieve the goal of, taking over a given location. And it's not just a one-time thing, it's an ever-evolving story. And you have to, like, you have different levels of command. You have like the high command that basically sets the orders out for a general goal, and then you have the lower level commanders that basically organize the different groups to go and play their roles and achieve the smaller goals that go forward towards the final victory. And if they get defeated, that changes the course of the whole thing. And so I really want to see that in this game, and how the planets can be a part of creating the supplies and the energy and whatnot that's needed to fuel those different types of campaigns and whatnot. I mean, this is just me thinking out loud. I'm sure you guys have already gone through this, but those are just my thoughts.
Thanks for that, Freeman. What we're trying to build, the inspiration that we have, right, is that we want the game to be easy to pick up but hard to master, and that's and compared to other games like Eve Online, right, or maybe even Dota 2, which Lauren and I play a lot, we don't want it to be a case where um, it's very easy to it's very hard to get into it's very hard to get into the late stage of the game. It becomes really just drawn out. What we envision is that you have just missions. You load up for a mission, and then these missions would determine a set of rewards that you can get, and then you can also get a certain PQX in the end, depending on the planet tier that you have, right? But we'll very much take in the feedback of the community, hopefully when the pre-alpha comes out, because that's when we reveal the number of modes that we have. So currently, the modes that we are envisioning are maybe something like capture the flag, right, or a quick versus mode. And yeah, I think the coordination, like you mentioned, will be there as well, because not all classes, not all gears are equal. Like we said, maybe there will even be we're thinking of we already revealed the some rifles and grenades in the game, right? So not everyone will have to equip these. Some of them will be engineers as well that can build some structures that can be useful in the game. And this is something that's seen in other games, and even in the recent Final Fantasy. Sorry, not Final Fantasy. Fire. Was it Fire? Yeah, yeah, no, the tactics game from Nintendo. Like you can build some structures, and stealth modes or defensive or glass cannon builds will also be there. But not everyone can be a glass cannon, right? Or not everyone can be a tank. So I think these kinds of coordinations, as you load up in the gear, will be really key. And I think that's really where the beauty shines of an NFT of a planet owner, because you can just invite anyone that you want and you can coordinate from there. And even if you're not even if you don't know a boss with a planet, you can also have there are also missions that can be executed in unowned or unmanned planets. And this is where the free to play comes into play as well. So you don't need to know someone or own a planet to be able to play the game. You can also play it as a free player.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, everyone. If there's anybody else who have any questions that they want to ask, please feel free to raise your hand. Was there anything in particular, Paulo, that you wanted to chat about before we move on to like closing to wrapping things up?
I think I think I just want to say that we are really just building. Yeah. So you're welcome to come if you're listening here if you're listening a recording of this, or if you're here live. Our website is planetquest.io. We also have a link tree. I think a link tree slash planetquest.io, I believe. Yeah, and in that you can see everything that the community has done. You can see the wiki, our quantum chronicles, all the different translated white papers are there as well, in like there's like 20 languages. Um, and this is just really the start. We came out last December. The community is now 239,000, and that's just after a few months, not even half a year yet. And we just introduced three NFTs so far: our gear pack, our insignias, the gear packs, and the planets. There's still more down the line. The guild. The guild NFTs will be up soon. The the gear NFTs will be really exciting, and the novel will be there as well by the end of this year, and the tokens. And there may be something for you if you hold some NFTs, token wise.
Ooh,
Yeah.
more teasers. Um, that opens up a good question actually. Like, is it too late for somebody to join the Plant Quest community? Are you too far down the late game for somebody to join?
No, 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 no. We just started, we just started, and we're just building our. We're just starting to build our other language communities as well. So it's if you're not in our PQ server, and when you go in, it'll be a bit of a jungle, because it's expanded so much and there's so many sub communities now. But don't worry, just raise your hand and somebody will be there to help you out. And they really want to help you out. They're just looking for opportunities to help you, because that also makes it good for them, because they can be rewarded for helping out.
Yeah, exactly. What's your advice for somebody like I don't know, like a random person heard about Plant Quest through this AMA? Where should they start?
Yeah, so go to our website at planetquest.io. Then you can see the sale over there as well. Actually, there's about 8 days left, but you can also
Hmm.
see other linkages there. You can see the planets in action. Please click view in 3D mode or something like that, and you'll be able to see the planet in its full glory. Play around with it and visualize how that will come to your wallet. Check out the profiles of our founder. Go to our Medium if you want a deeper dive, really. So it's medium.com/, give me a second. At Planet Quest Game. Yeah, Medium. You can also
Yeah.
access those in our link tree, actually, or our website. The Medium has extensive explanations on the economy, the tokenomics, the planet utility. You can even see the Meet the Team articles. the head of game dev. I'm there as well somehow. I don't know why. Lauren is there, John is there, and slowly we're dishing out more and more content about for you to get to know who the Universal Council is as well, and for you to get a feedback on to get a glimpse of what's ahead as well. So that's it for a deep dive. Go to Medium. For quick updates, we have our Twitter as well. Our handle is at Join Planet Quest. And yeah, if you want to join the Discord, please go through it through our website because we actually there's a link there, and then you can and our Discord you're linking your Discord ID and your wallet. So it's important to go through that onboarding process to make it secure for you and to make sure that you will get the rewards. Yeah.
That's awesome. I invited Magic again. He raised his hand. Magic, well, what is your question?
Oh, thanks for having me again.
Hey.
No
You
worries.
know, I was involved pretty early in the Decentraland community, and it was very cool and very similar to this. And you see the same type of energy, maybe more in this community. And I think that what excites me most about this project is part of what made me leave Decentraland is I could see it getting so bogged down and slow, and it just wasn't very fun to play and be in that world. And so to have it be able to run on Mutable and then on a layer 2 system that can like have these Hollywood scale graphics, I think this game in particular will be sort of what makes people realize like what scale blockchain gaming can do in terms of like truly enjoyable games that are fun to play and also have board game rewards. My question is about the gear sale and how purchasing gear during the gear sale will differ from having something like a epic pack or something like that.
I think they have different utilities, right? I'm afraid I can't really give you a lot of details for the gear sale, because we're now still pivot. We're now heavily focused on the planet first. But I think in about a month or two, we will definitely share more of the gear's utilities with you. What we can say for now is it is a collection of planets. There will be some staking mechanics to it. It will likely function a bit more like a DAO, because it's collection of planets under it, right? So there'll be some voting and whatnot. There'll be some politics here and there, but this is definitely the one of the top ones to get for the guild sale, and this will be uh, linked to many of our partner guilds and also our partner sports teams. And even as a community member, you owning a guild with a collection of planets is really quite epic. Um, but to respond to your earlier comment on having an active community that is really not bogged down, I think that's really one of our aims, and we really believe that it will scale a lot, right? You don't have to worry if you're late to the party. You're actually still early because the alpha is yet to come by the end of this year, right? So you really are early, but it will scale eventually a lot more. I think next year because of the technology that we have that you can play on any browser, on any device, PC, mobile, or device. So the adoption curve is really short. Yeah. So yeah, that works for everyone, I think.
Yeah, definitely. It's super exciting. Just making it mainstream, the planet scale mainstream is really what we're hoping to enable our partners to do. And PlanetQuest is really at the forefront of that. So super excited to see how it goes. We have a few minutes left. Final words, Paulo, before we sign off. That hour flew by super quickly.
I think you did, right? Yeah, it's 3 minutes to 12. Wow. I mean 12 for me at 50. Yeah. Okay, so final words is that, oh yeah, I forgot to mention, if you apply for a planet or if you go through the application in our planet sale, you can actually win as much as 10,000 IMX.
Oh, that's amazing. If I apply, like anybody just applies?
Yeah, if you apply and your application is successful, if it's valid, of course. Not It doesn't have to be successful. You don't have to rank very high, as long as
Mm,
you enter a valid entry. Let's say at least your wallet is properly there, or you actually wrote something in the motivation channel and you actually put your details,
mm.
and you're not using any bots or whatnot, right? Then yeah, you'll definitely be eligible. Yeah, and it's a raffle as well, so anyone can enter. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not too late, everybody. Again, nobody's too late to the party. You should just jump in.
Yeah, so we're giving away like I think 56 entries so far. So apart from the 10K, there will also be bits of prize rewards given by IMX, of course. Thank you, you're amazing partners, and that really helps to boost the morale and the excitement behind it. Yeah.
Awesome. In that case, all right. I think we're at the end of it. Thank you very much, Paulo. We're really looking forward to see how the Pat seal goes, and I'd be curious to see how the application goes as well. I'm sure people are writing very interesting stuff there. That's really contributing to the lore as well.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Nigel. Thank you, IMX community, for being here. If you hop over to Planet side at Planet Quest, my name there is Dincy. That's why they call me Dincy. Dincy. So yeah, just send me a DM if you need any clarifications, or reach out to the community once you're in. We'll sort you out. Don't worry.
Cool. All right, that's it. Thanks everybody for listening. For those who missed it, this will be recorded and uploaded to YouTube. Looking forward to seeing everybody in the next one.